excited about this team. There's been more buzz about this team, and rightfully so, in my opinion, than in many, many years. We were all excited about last year, but the big question then was, can they continue? Can they repeat? And if they do, then there's really something to be excited about. And here we are, buddy. And a big reason for that is play in the trenches. Now, Jim Harbaugh kind of got back to his roots there. And if we look at the Michigan offensive line, in your opinion, what has changed over the last 4 or 5 years? Because they had pieces. They've had guys in the pros. Were they not playing together well? Were they not getting what they should have gotten out of some of these guys? Because some of these guys were playing better in the NFL than they were at Michigan. But these guys really seem to have meshed. And part of me has to credit Sharon Moore here for his, obviously, effect on that line.
Well, this is a great question, Ballas, and you and I've talked about it before. It's hard to say because we're not in the room, we're not in the houses and the dorm rooms, and these guys are hanging around. But something changed when Coach Moore took over, because there was talent there before. Think of Bredesen and think of Runyon Jr. and that group, and Big Mike and Wenu, who was coached by the previous O-line coach for 3 or 4 years, and they got better. They got better during that era. We tracked some of the stats that are indicators of O-line performance, and during that time they did improve dramatically. Sacks went down, hits on quarterback went down, everything, but it still quite wasn't getting the job done when it came to some key games, and we're still losing to Ohio State pretty significantly. I think a couple things have happened here. So Coach Moore takes over the room. I think probably elevates the room into a little bit of more swagger, builds a little confidence and camaraderie in that room. This is just my view from having been there and done that many years ago.
You're right.
The best of offensive lines are great friends, and they care for each other deeply. And when they get out there, they start rolling people, they start having fun, and they want to do it some more and more. And so you can see how this happened over the last few years. And now this unit is rolling. They have high expectations. They protect their quarterback. They protect their running back. They enjoy what they're doing, and you can watch them have fun while they're doing it. And so I think enormous amounts of credit go to Coach Moore and what he's done in the last few years with this unit, and they continue to get better. And here we are, looking into the fall here at a team that's got the sky as their goal, right? The sky is the limit. Their goals are out there, and they want the big trophy. And we've sniffed it a couple of years now, and now it's time to take the next step.
They really do. And you nailed it, man. I was talking to Trevor Keegan, Michigan's left guard, in the offseason for a feature in the Football Preview magazine. Order that, folks, by the way. If you have not, thewolverine.com, you can go to the front page and there will be an ad there for it. But he said, first of all, there was something about Sharon Moore that was really exciting. And he said, this guy, when he came in here, it became a lot of fun, and there was such a bond. You could tell how much he cared about his players. Not that Ed Warner didn't. He really improved that room. Let's give him credit. Sharon Moore took it to the next level. And Keegan said the second that they walked off the field against TCU, that they knew, he and Zach Zinner started talking about coming back for another year. And he said, we can't leave like this, number one, which really made me feel good, because in years prior, Keegan even said this, there were guys that were like, okay, let me look at my NFL draft stock and I'll get back with you. Okay. But these guys were first and foremost thinking about not being able to leave without having accomplished something a little bit more than just the semifinal, which is an unbelievable accomplishment, as you know. So I love that. Number two, you've got guys like you did, that are waiting their turn. I saw a picture up there of Giovanni El-Hadi, who is a guy who would start at most Big Ten schools, if not all, and is going to be an NFL player. I don't have any doubt about it, that are waiting their turn and not, wouldn't say content to do it, but willing to do it for the program. And I mean, that speaks volumes about the culture in that room, doesn't it?
I think it absolutely does. And this is the magic sauce that is hard to describe to fans that aren't in the room. And so you get high level talent like those guys that chose to come back when they could have chased an NFL dream. That means that they're having fun. They enjoy their staff, the coaching staff. They enjoy the strength and conditioning staff, whatever it is that's going on inside of Schembechler Hall and outside of Schembechler Hall is a really positive experience for these young guys to put the NFL off for yet another year and say, hey, we have the luxury of enjoying where we're at so much and the program that we're in that we can afford to sit here another year. and chase the big dream that we fell short of this last year against TCU and the year before that against Georgia. So these are all good indicators of the health of the overall program, not just that offensive line room.
Yeah, what's this line do skiing really well? 2 years in a row, they've won the Joe Moore Award, and it's not just, of course, part of it's getting off the ball, and getting the knockback and everything, but a lot of it is there's more technical stuff going into it these days. Your guys are being asked to probably not fire off the ball as much as to create seams. And in your opinion, what has made this line really good the last 2 years?
Well, I would argue and say it's never not coming off the ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we break them down, we watch them in the fall. What they're doing is not new,
Mm-hmm.
but what they are doing is effective in that their first steps, the angle at their shoulders and their hips are when they're engaged with a double team on a down lineman to a linebacker, and they're using all four of their eyes, right? We have two eyes on our heads as an offensive lineman. You have two eyes on the ends of your arms called your hands. And so you saw many times throughout the course of a game where a guy will be blocking, but over here on maybe his right half, but his eyeballs are over here looking to the left, and you can feel what's going on. And so you get that from just reps and effective practice time and doing some walkthroughs with the offensive line unit. And so when you can dial in technically the way that they have, you improve your performance. You're more effective at moving guys from the down lineman, getting them into the heels of the linebackers and causing problems for linebackers, and giving a linebacker only one way to go, maybe. But the visual keys that an offensive lineman uses when you're heavy double team like Michigan has been the last couple of years, you have to be really good with your eyeballs. And then if you're not good with your body position to pick up a linebacker, it's really critical. Again, if I'm double teaming with someone and I got my eyes on a linebacker, if he comes underneath to my left, I got to come off and get him. If he goes over the top, I got to take that down lineman, and then my partner's going to take that linebacker over the top. And so if your hips and your shoulders are in the wrong position, if you're turned to the sideline or you don't have the right body posture, your chances of picking up that linebacker are very low. And Michigan, time and time again, last year with Oluwatimi, especially there in the center, was in position with his eyeballs in the right spot to pick up those linebackers time and time again. And you're right to a degree, Ballas, that they weren't always devastating blocks. Think of the last game against Ohio State, picking up the linebacker there. You come off that down lineman, you just stick him for a half second,
Right.
and Edwards is gone for 70 yards. And it doesn't have to be, the dream, movie script offensive line block that we all think about. It needs to be. And of course, it's a lot of fun to do those things, but those tiny little things make a huge difference. So the best thing they've done in the last couple of years is become really, really effective power double team blocking. But then they also have this curveball where they can run a zone block on you, and everybody takes off to the left, and we're going to block a space. Whoever shows up in it, they can do that too. So they're really good at both.